Hello, Morella Park students and families. It's Mrs. Travis. I'm so excited to join you for this reading adventure. I love reading. Do you guys love reading too? I could read anywhere, any place. I'd even hang upside down in a tree if I could and read. So I'm joining you from my backyard and I'm ready to see what is happening in chapter 2. Let's look back and think what was happening at the end of chapter 1. Addison's mom had called him downstairs to breakfast. All right, let's see where this adventure takes us. Chapter 2. What's up? I asked as I caught the piece of French toast that came flying through the kitchen doorway. Mom sometimes goes crazy in the kitchen. If she doesn't get to cook a big meal for a couple of days, she saves up all her energy and throws it into the food. Once, she made 3 different salads, 4 kinds of sandwiches, and 2 types of pudding, all for my lunch, and all in 10 minutes. I bet she could make breakfast, lunch, and dinner all at once, in between rearranging the kitchen furniture. Saturdays were French toast days. French toast days were sometimes good, sometimes bad. It all depended on what wacky health food store ingredients Mom had decided to use that day. Last week, it was honey and alfalfa sprouts. Definitely not a good day. The week before, it was organic sunflower with burnt crust. I'm not sure if the burnt crust were organic or not. This week looked better. There seemed to be almonds and cherries flattened into the bread. At least I hoped they were cherries. They might have been kidney beans. With my mom, you never know. What's the big rush? I asked as I watched her throw another piece into the frying pan. It's the big astronomy event today, she said between gulps of organic papaya juice. Now, I might not know much about science, but I was pretty sure that the stars came out at night, not at 8 o'clock in the morning. Ah, Mom, I think that maybe you've got your times mixed up, I offered helpfully. Mom sometimes gets confused. I remembered once when she showed up at the baseball field with 5 dozen carob chip and apple muffins. That was really nice of her and all, but completely unnecessary. Our team wasn't even playing that day. It was the firefighters' guinea pig races instead. I guess I forgot to mention to her that our tournament had been postponed. The firefighters liked the muffins, though. I think the guinea pigs did too. If we ever have a fire, I bet the trucks will get to our house really fast. Mom looked flushed for a minute, as if she actually believed me for once. But then she suddenly remembered. No. We're driving to Williamstown to look at the new observatory. We're eating lunch at the Galaxy restaurant. Then we're having a meeting to discuss the election of officers next month. I would die to be the treasurer. I looked at Mom as if she were sick. She looked fine, but I couldn't be sure. She'd been trying to keep really busy lately. Maybe she was too busy to think straight. Since she and Dad got divorced 4 years ago, she had tried at least 8 different clubs. First she tried belly dancing. Next it was bread making. Then came basket weaving. I guess that was so she'd have something to put the bread in. Herb drying, yoga, Japanese gardening, Chinese lantern making, and Greek cooking rounded out the list. I had used my calculator to figure out that was 2 clubs a year. She usually quit after a couple months, but maybe this one would stick. But treasurer? It was a mystery to me why anyone would want to do a job without getting paid, especially a job involving numbers. Come to think of it, I didn't really get what was so exciting about staring at a bunch of stars. Why do you like stars so much? I asked as I picked the almonds out of the toast and stuffed them into my pocket. The squirrels would like them better than I did. I had to do my part for the animal welfare. I always leave the garage window open a crack just in case the bats need someplace to sleep. Mom's not real keen on that one. She didn't really like the toad house I built out of her new bamboo placemats either. Mom looked at me like I came from Mars, which I'm sure she hopes to see at the astronomy club. How could you not like looking at the stars? She asked, shooting me a look that said I must have been adopted. I love the stars, and I want to be treasurer because it's a way of meeting people, she explained. I don't think I stand much of a chance because the only experience I have working with numbers, in an official sense, was when I volunteered with the Humane Society. I had to collect and record the donations we receive for the Feed a Kitten Day. I don't think that kitten food expenses are in the same category as big telescope expenses, but I'm going to try anyway, she said happily. Besides, You know I love working with numbers, she added, staring at me in a way that made me feel like I was supposed to share her feelings. I think Mom secretly wanted to be an accountant or some other strange math-loving creature. She was always trying to play little number games with me, like telling me to see if I could balance my bank account before the computer did it for me. She didn't know that I just kept my money from my paper route in my underwear drawer, between all my holy socks. Hey, did I just have to say underwear drawer? Let me reread that. She didn't know that I just kept the money from my paper route in my underwear drawer between all my holy socks. That was enough balancing for me. So, she even used to make a number-shaped cookies to try to get me to add as I was eating. Instead of putting the 2 and the 3 cookies together like I suggested, I just ate the whole plateful. I figured that was the quickest and tastiest way to get to 5. She downed her raspberry tea in a single gulp. Did you know, she said, that those stars that you're talking about actually made the starlight thousands of years ago? It's taken many years to reach us. So that's what you see when you look up there? Some really old light? I asked. No, that's just it, Mom explained, practically glowing now. It's what you don't see. I scratched my head as I put my French toast into the microwave to warm up. I was sure I was adopted now. Either that or I took after Dad. He lived in Australia now, trying out a new career as a sheep farmer. He probably didn't have time to look at the sky, just the fields. Besides, I bet the stars were upside down in Australia. I knew he didn't like numbers. I guess he didn't like letters either, since he'd only sent us 2 emails in the last year. There are so many unexplained mysteries out there, Mom gushed as she threw the frying pan into the sink. If it takes that long for starlight to reach us, don't you wonder what those stars look like right now? We see a star, but maybe it's something else by now, and we won't know for thousands of years. We see what the star looked like way back then. Because it's so far away, it takes ages for the information on what it looks like to reach us. Who knows? It might not even be there anymore. Scientists are constantly discovering things like new planets and asteroids, or discovering that things they thought were planets aren't really planets at all. Not everything is as it appears. I see, I said. What about black holes, she continued. Her face lit up like the night sky. Black holes are really dense areas in the universe that have such a strong gravitational field that nothing can escape from them, not even light. Everything just disappears into them. You can't see them, so you can't prove they exist. That's what some people think anyway, but you can't prove that they don't exist either. Like I said before, just because you can't see something, it doesn't mean it isn't there. She blew me a kiss as she breezed out the door. The microwave beeped. I stared at it for a minute. Then I got that flash of inspiration that sometimes comes my way. I had a topic for my speech, and it was sweet. Oh, Morella Park friends, I can't wait to see what happens in Chapter 3. I hope you enjoyed reading with Mrs. Travis and enjoy the rest of this great reading adventure. See you soon.